He's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment. We're happy to share liquid lunch. Pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. That's a little bit off center, isn't it? I was wrestling with that on-air sign. I desperately want it to be working tonight when I have a very special guest in the studio, Stark of Iron. Looking forward to that a great deal. What I've also been looking forward to is having all of you here, starting with the lovely Netter of Netters Network, who claims me as the love of her life and asks all of you to like, share, subscribe, and become a member. Yes, I do hope that you will do that. It's the only way I can continue to stay on the air. In the air? On the stream? I don't know what we call it anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure that on air actually applies when you're talking about something, that's streaming on the computer. I don't know. Now let's see if we can follow this. See if we can find the step that Lynn Green missed. Took a load out of the dryer, put a load in dryer, emptied the limp trap, closed the door, set the dial, walked away, shut the light off, open basement door. Sounds like there was a step at set dial. You didn't press start. However, if you were using our dryer, that would actually not be a problem. We actually had to bypass. I'm not going to get into the technical reasons why, but we had to bypass the start switch. So literally, when you set the dial, it starts on its own. So that would be the step, not to be concerned about, at least in our house. Welcome, by the way. She said, I caught part of your show from last night. To Netter. Yes, I'm glad that you did. It was a follow-up to my liquid lunch from yesterday. Ooh, martini. Enjoy all. Troy, dirty martini? Yay or nay? I normally don't go for a dirty martini. However, that Daniel Craig bit, about the dirty martini kind of raises my eyebrows. And I have had one from time to time, but usually not the way I go. you ask someone if they like a dirty martini. What you're really asking them is, do you prefer sweeter or drier? Dirty martini is way to the dry side. Not only dry, but like you add some of the brine from the olives, so it's like super dry. And Age of Boomer says, I'm having 6 Harvey Wallbangers and 2 dozen raw oysters with Tabasco sauce for lunch. Wow. Okay. Well, Netter, you might have to be the designated driver tonight. Take it easy there, buddy. It's only lunchtime. It's only lunchtime. I mean, even I do it. Go easy at lunchtime. Welcome, of course, to Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. Wilky's Movies and Music. He's here to say, hey, all. And as long as he is here, I am saying to you, we are going over to Wilky's Movies and Music immediately after this stream. So stay right where you are. We are going to get a little bit of afternoon movie from Wilky's Movies and Music. Merpo Bastej Luth. Welcome, Mark. Your Klingon is impeccable as ever. Oh, Lynn says I got it right. Didn't and prior to the rewiring of our machine, Netter and I both did that many times. We would throw everything in the dryer, set it, walk away, come back the next day and say, well, it looks like we have to rewash a load because now it smells like stinky feet. I don't know why clothes sitting in the dryer that didn't dry. I guess that's just the smell. Like button smash. Yes, please, everybody, hit that like button. It means a tremendous amount to me. It absolutely does. And welcome, Jonathan Conroy. Always good to see you here. Without internet at work, I wrote 13 pages, 3 left to type, working on that now. Fair enough. And have not seen in a long time. Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf. Ow! Welcome, my dear friend. Always good to see you. And Mark Malnikoff is having bagels, cream cheese, smoked herring, and veggies, and a big cup of coffee for brunch. So when you say veggies, are you talking pickled? Because I know you like those pickled vegetables, pickled meats. You're as pickled as my liver. So anyway, speaking of, let's talk martinis. When it comes to martinis, I go with the old adage. They say a martini is like a woman's breast. 1 ain't enough, and 3 is too many. And then I start to think about that scene from Total Recall, the girl in the bar, and Netter's like, no, okay. 2 is enough. 2 is plenty. So make mine a double. But let us talk about martini. Why is martini my favorite? Well, it was my grandfather's favorite. My grandfather's fedora, my grandfather's drink, a big influence on, me and therefore this show. But let's talk about the history of the martini. I am reading from an article from liquor.com, linked down below. So let's talk about the history of no matter how you order your martini, you may get a strikingly different cocktail at 2 different bars. The drink is heavily based on personal preference, technique, and the skill of the person making it. That's going to be the case whether you ask for bone dry or filthy. The best part of martinis is how customizable they are. To understand what makes the combination of spirits and dry vermouth so versatile, it helps to think about the martini's history, although its exact origins are murky. The traditionally gin-based cocktail originated as a much sweeter drink in the late 1800s when sweet Italian vermouth was used. By the turn of the century, dry vermouth had replaced sweet, and by 1905, a dry martini may have included equal parts gin and dry vermouth. Over the years, the martini called for less and less vermouth, as cocktail historian David Wondrich writes in the Oxford Companion to Spirits and Cocktails. Martini aficionados could expect a ratio of at least 5-to-1 gin to vermouth by 1954. Fast forward to the 60s, and vodka's rise to popularity made it the preferred spirit of the cocktail. Then there are the fruity and espresso-laden teenies of the 90s that aren't really martinis, but serve to muddle the terminology even further. Yeah, that would include all the chocolate teenies and all the other kinds of teenies you may have heard of. The craft cocktail revival of the early 2000s saw many bartenders returning the martini to more traditional ratios like 2-to-1, spirit to vermouth, and adding a dash or two of orange bitters, as would have been done in the early 20th century. However, ask modern bartenders how much of each ingredient should go into the mixing glass, and you'll likely receive widely different answers. And that's before you even get into the question of gin and vodka. Oliver Twist, get it? And so on. In short, there's no one-size-fits-all martini, which is why the drink's dedicated fans have developed highly specific orders tailored to individual preferences. Here's a common question that arises and tips to help you find your perfect martini. How to pick a gin or vodka for a martini. Let's see how well I actually agree with this article. Gin or vodka may be the most common martini question. To be clear, that's another joke. There's no wrong answer. I disagree. Gin makes the most classic version of a martini, so you can probably guess where my heart lies. But your choice ultimately comes down to personal preference. And for most people, it's that limey 00 agent. A gin martini will feature more prominent botanical notes, which you may find that a vodka martini has a cleaner, more natural profile. Yeah, I don't know if the article gets into it, but gin is a clear alcohol, just like vodka is, but it's infused usually with juniper. So yeah, that's where those botanical notes come from. And it's subtle, but I feel it's important. When ordering a gin martini, Jesse Pollock, the bar manager at Spoons and Stable in Minneapolis, recommends a London Dry. That's what I usually go with. Popular examples include Tanqueray, Beefeater, and Bombay Sapphire. Bombay Sapphire happens to be what I have on hand, which offers more classical gin juniper notes. Bingo! New American gins can be delicious, but they often have bold botanical components like lavender. That actually does sound interesting. And rose petal that can throw off the balance of the classic martini, says Pollock. Her favorite choice for gin martinis include Tanqueray London Dry, Ford's Gin, and Heyman's London Dry. The head bartender of Swift and Son Steakhouse in Chicago also prefers a London Dry for a classic martini. He points, it is a Chicago locale, but I've never been there myself. He points to Sipsmith as a great option and pairs well with the cocktail's dry vermouth. There's kind of like they're kind of like Lego pieces. They fit really nicely together. However, he notes that new American gins, such as Colorado's Woody Creek, may be more approachable for newcomers. I'm going to skip down because I think they're wandering off the reservation here a little bit. Picking a vodka, I'm just going to skip over that. You should. Picking a vodka, go back to gin. How to pick the right amount of vermouth in a martini. This is actually where I struggle, and I'm still trying to find my personal ratio. So let's see what the article has to say. Maybe it'll help me out. Dry vermouth is a fortified wine that adds gentle aromatics to a martini. It's a very subtle thing, but it goes a long way. The amount of vermouth used can vary widely. When ordering a gin martini, you can typically expect a spirit to vermouth ratio that ranges anywhere from the classic 2-to-1, that's how I generally go, to 5-to-1. However, the house recipe has, at some establishments, particularly older bars or steakhouses, may lean even drier. Actually, I think the best martini I've ever had, Netter made for me, and it was a 2-to-1 ratio. Vodka martinis and dry martinis may also omit the vermouth, as at Spoon and Stable. Generally, we have found that the folks ordering those styles of drinks prefer no or little vermouth. I don't know how accurate it is, but I do know that Winston Churchill is said to have said, "I would like to observe the vermouth from across the room while I drink my martini." I mean, without the vermouth, I feel like you're just drinking gin, which is perfectly fine, but I'm not entirely certain that constitutes it being a martini. It's not a mixed drink anymore, is it? If you're not sure what you prefer, Pollock recommends that newcomers start with a 50-50 martini, which contains equal parts spirits to dry vermouth, or a dirty martini if you really enjoy olives. The saltiness of the brine softens the burn of the alcohol. Then why? It seems. Then why bother? Anyway. So it feels less spirit forward and a little more entry level. Yeah, it's kind of like training wheels. I suppose he's right. Should a martini be stirred or shaken? It's not that simple. As a rule of thumb, cocktails with only spirits and liquors like the Martini or Manhattan are stirred rather than shaken for several reasons. These drinks don't include ingredients that require aeration, like fruit juices or egg whites. Those do. Stirring also dilutes the cocktail less than shaking and is more and in a more controlled way, which maintains the rich texture of the spirits. If you are having a martini, keep it away from the ice. I know that most bartenders will pour it over ice, mix it, and then drain, but you are still diluting your alcohol in an unnecessary way. If you prepare in advance, you don't need the ice. I keep my gin in the freezer. It is already 0 degrees centigrade, right? It's already at freezing temperature. Alcohol at that high a proof does not freeze, but it does maintain that temperature. You don't need to bring ice to the mix. However, stirred martinis aren't gospel. Shaking ultimately produces a colder cocktail more quickly. Again, you don't have to worry about that if your gin is not room temperature. If it's already frozen, well, I guess it wouldn't be frozen. If it is already at water freeze temperature, then you don't need to shake it, period. we shake this bartender, Richard Napolitan, the manager at Bernie's, says we shake our vodka because it doesn't really have too much of a flavor profile. Sorry, I had to say it. And I think the colder the vodka, the better it tastes. Okay, again, the second part of that sentence isn't necessary if you're keeping your vodka in the freezer. However, he is correct about the first part. If you're going with a vodka, you don't have those juniper or other floral notes. So it kind of doesn't matter if you aerate it or not. So yes, if you're going to have a Vesper Martini, which is a vodka martini, and you choose to shake it, you go right ahead and shake it. But if you're shaking it with ice, again, you're diluting that alcohol. Nah. I suppose if you're planning on having more martinis that night, maybe it doesn't matter so much. Maybe you do want to pace yourself. Dirty martinis often go into the shaker too. This one actually makes a little bit more sense, especially if you're making a dirty martini with a vodka. I think aeration in that would act. I've never had a dirty martini made this way, but I think it would be a little bit better. It's putting the dirt first, he says. There you go. It really is a texture thing. I prefer my martini stirred, but someone who wants a more diluted, lighter mixture should opt for shaken. See, that's exactly what I was saying. I think that diluted and lighter when it comes to martini is just absolutely anathema. But again, that's just my preference. Now let's talk garnish. Okay. Most bars or restaurants will ask which garnish you prefer, a lemon twist or an olive. Like the spirit, it's a decision that comes down to personal preference. Gin with lemon is a great combination, says, Polish name I can't pronounce. There's also no shame in asking for both. Let's see. The twist adds a lovely bright aroma over the cocktail and livens it up, while an olive adds a touch of salinity, and it's satisfying little treat to enjoy as you sip your martini. That I absolutely agree with. I've never had both. Call me crazy. I never thought to do both. Up till now, it's just been what I'm in the mood for. Am I looking for salty, or am I looking for that citrus zing? But I could see the two going together. So different styles of martini. The 50-50, the style which is what many martinis looked like in the early 1900s, made in equal parts. It contains 50% spirit mixed with 50% dry vermouth. Bone dry, the order will generally get you a martini with no vermouth. Again, sounds like you're getting just a glass of gin or just a glass of vodka, which is fine, but dirty, most classic form, a dirty martini adds olive brine to the standard martini mix. Some places, such as Bemelmans and Musso and Frank's, will split the dry vermouth and olive brine, substituting a portion of the vermouth for an equal amount of brine. Other bars, including Spoon and Stable and Temple Bar, replace the vermouth entirely with brine. That's interesting. Dirty martinis are often, but not always, made with vodka as the primary spirit and shaken. That kind of makes sense, because if you're going with a dirty martini, you're not going to taste that juniper. It hardly seems worth it. Save your gin in instance. A dry martini contains less dry vermouth than a standard martini. Ratios can vary widely, but you can generally expect your bartender to decrease the amount of vermouth and sometimes increase the spirit, resulting in a ratio of anywhere from 5-1 to 8-1 spirit to vermouth. Extra dry, extra dirty or filthy martini. Martini style simply has more olive brine than a dirty martini, often in a ratio that surpasses a classic. Martini specifications for the amount of dry vermouth, you can expect anywhere from an ounce to a half ounce of brine. Temple Bar takes it a step further with a house recipe that calls for equal parts spirit and brine. Extra dry, an extra dry martini will have even smaller portions of dry vermouth than the dry martini. At most places, you can expect your bartender to only rinse the glass with vermouth or swirl a small amount of dry vermouth to coat the interior of the glass before tossing out any extra. That seems wasteful, but there you go. A Gibson? A Gibson is simply a martini garnished with a cocktail onion rather than the olive or lemon twist. It will likely be made according to the same specs as a standard martini, so if you'd like further tweaks, make sure to specify according to your preferred martini ratios and style. On the Rocks is Anathema. It is from the devil. We'll skip over that one. A perfect martini is generally made in 2-1 spirit to vermouth ratio. However, the vermouth is further split into equal parts sweet and dry vermouth. Well, that sounds interesting. The resulting drink is sweeter and more aromatic than a standard martini. A reverse martini flips the usual specs and typically contains 2 parts vermouth to 1 part gin and vodka. Oh my gosh, can't even imagine that. I may have to try it one day, but wow. Maybe when I'm feeling like a bizarro day, you know. It's a good option if you're a fan of vermouths and are experimenting with artisanal vermouths whose flavors you'd like to give more prominence. Okay, that kind of makes sense. That's kind of a logical reason for it. I mean, if you're going to suggest something so bizarre, it's nice to have a logical reason. Straight up. This term can vary and is best to avoid in the context of martinis. Some bartenders may take it to mean no vermouth, while others may interpret it another way of saying up. If you'd like your martini with no vermouth, you're better off simply asking for no vermouth. Up means that the drink has been strained into a cocktail glass without ice. Martinis are almost always served up, so you generally don't need to specify this in your order. Wet. I'm just going to read it. A wet martini is heavier on the dry vermouth, meaning your bartender may bump the vermouth up by half an ounce or more. However, at places where dry martinis are the default, the spec for a wet martini may be the same as those for a standard martini at other bars. Okay, that's that wasn't going where I thought it would. So, okay, I'm good with that. With a twist. Ordering a martini with a twist will ensure that you receive a lemon peel as garnish and indicates to the bartender that they should skip the olive. So, again, presumably, unless you specify that you also want the olive. Thank you for letting me go on with that article. Let me real quick get back to what all of you have been saying for some time now. Let's see here. Guys saying hi to each other. And I just had Alton Brown's whole wheat pancakes with turkey links and a single barrel syrup. Now, Ordinarily, I'm not very much into the whole idea of turkey replacing pork, like turkey jerky or the turkey bacon that I've seen. But and although I've never tried it, I do think that a turkey sausage might actually be pretty good. I might be willing to try that, especially if it's particularly juicy. I wouldn't mind giving that a try. Pickled and avocado and onions. Okay, see, I know you. I know you, Mark. Netter says, show the love. Hit the thumbs up. 11 here and only 7 thumbs up. For shame, for shame. That actress was Lieutenant Sonia Gomez on The Next Generation. I must have missed a comment somewhere. I do remember Sonia Gomez. She's the one that spilled coffee all over Captain Picard. Let's see. Martinis were a central prop on MASH. That's right. We were talking about that. Was it last Sunday? No, it was the Sunday before, because we were saying goodbye to Loretta Swit, and we were talking about the fact that on MASH they kept a distillery in the 407 7th, so they were constantly drinking martinis. Now, I do believe they said that they were making gin, but I want to know how they were obtaining juniper, unless what they were doing was just making vodka. Never really thought too much about that, back when I was a kid. I'm a beef eater. I had pot roast for dinner last night. Fair enough. And beef eater is also something you should have behind the bar. Just saying. Just saying. Longest running superhero role-playing game on Earth. Greetings. I'm going to have to talk to you sometime soon, CK. I have just recently pulled out the very abridged version of the second edition of the DC Heroes role-playing game. I'm planning to reread it. Never really understood the rules all that well, but I very much want to put together a Batman-centric role-playing game for my D&D group. So I might have to hit you up for some thoughts and advice. Clifton 3D says, hello, friends. Good to see you. I'm so glad that you are here. CK is on his way to Fort Wayne for a con. That is awesome. I hope you have a lot of fun. Be safe. Be safe. And stay hydrated. I had a beer at work, a pina colada at dinner, and now a mojito. Mojito for breakfast. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's a natural progression. That is wise. That is wise. and Lynn focusing on the fact that you had a pina colada, but do you like getting caught in the rain? Are you into health food and the taste of champagne? I prefer my bubbly wines to be from Italy myself, so I'll stick to the Astis rather than the champagnes. See, he wasn't getting. So unfortunately, Lynn is going to force me to sing. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. It's a very terrible, very overplayed 70s song. Clifton thinks it's a great song. Well, maybe over on your side of the pond, they don't play it near as much as they do here. They play it here all the time. And when you really listen to that song, it sounds like just two horrible people that pretty much deserve each other. And I'm glad that they're together. They are rescuing two other people, in my opinion. Netter says, it's time for the unboxing. What unboxing, you say? Get the box from under my blue sweater. Just a moment, folks. I'm gonna see what this is all about. Hold on. Just let me. There is a box underneath her blue sweater. There is, in fact, a box underneath the blue sweater. So let me come back and we will see what this is all about. Okay, so I've got a box, and I'm opening the box. Away from you, you can't see my address, even though you could very easily look it up. Let's see here. I got a something. It's well packaged. It is. Ooh, hoo, hoo. She got me a whiskey glass with the channel logo on it. Friday night last call. Look at that. How cool is that? I like that. Well, there you go. I think this is going to make it into its... You know what? Right now, I'm going to just put it up right over here. It's going to work its way into my rotation. Thank you very much, Nutter. Well, you planned that out, didn't you? You girl. Oh, nice. Curtis Selby. Howdy. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, plain ground turkey is, as he says, dry and plain. But when you make it in the style of American breakfast sausage, maybe not so bad. Since I'm allergic to pork, turkey is a better option for me. That is really, really sad. That is sad. I feel badly for people who have certain food allergies like that. When I hear someone is lactose intolerant and can't enjoy ice cream, my heart just really goes out to them. So I totally get that. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that the three-breasted girl from Total Recall was Sonia Gomez? Seriously? I didn't know that? Well, hotcha! Wow! Oh, it was hot cocoa. Okay, fair enough. It had the same impact on his uniform, though. Let's see. Me and my monkey says pour around. I absolutely did. I'm going to be pouring multiple rounds tonight when I get together with Stark of Iron. Hope you all can join me. Let's see here. But I love Escape, which is the actual name of the Pina Colada song. I love the moment when they laugh about planning to cheat on each other. See, that's what really bothers me the most. It's like, oh, so you're cheating on me too. Yeah. Although I will say this, the movie The Sixth Sense. Was it The Sixth Sense? No. It wasn't Sixth Sense. It was the other one that Bruce Willis did. Unbreakable. There's this bit where he and his wife are clearly having marriage problems. And they begin working on their problems, like they're dating, like their first meeting for the first time. Now, whether or not that's what helps them rebuild their relationship, or the fact that he's kind of embracing who he is, the main part of the story, helps him get his head straight, which helps him in his relationship. Could be both. I don't know. But I really love when they're sitting at the bar and they're talking. Again, like they've first met, and he's asking her the kind of questions that a husband probably would not be asking a wife, because you assume you know each other so much. And he asks her favorite song, and she says Soft and Wet by the artist formerly known as Prince. And he's like, you're kidding. Nope, not at all. And he's like, wow. And there's that just in a way that can't be described. These two actors just have this chemistry that conveys so much more than what they're saying. This incredible moment of closeness that they're having. But at the same time, I'm sitting there going, good song, way underrated song that most Prince enthusiasts don't even know, because it's from his earlier stuff. And if you would like this glass and or other merch, click the link. Shop Fourth Wall Collection. Wow, there you go. I didn't know we have merch. Well, thank you, Netter. I super appreciate it. I see it as something to learn from. Talk to your partner about the stuff you like, and you might be surprised. Yeah. Yes. My wife is looking out for me. I'm really encouraged. That's really cool. She was also in an episode of The Flash in the 90s. The one with John Wesley Shipp? Huh, I'll have to look back at that. I have them all on DVD, of course. PJ of Orville Nation. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Always good to see you. How are things in Spain right now? How are things on your side of the ocean? Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, Kapla, gotta lurk, had a very busy week at work. Totally understand. That's what these are for, my friend. I see dead people. I hope she's not talking about anyone here in the chat. He was having marriage problems in Sixth Sense 2. His wife just would not talk to him. Acted like he wasn't there. I like that. Yeah. It was a pretty big marriage problem. It was like there was this huge gulf between them, right? In space. I am me on the Orville, bro. Yeah, there you go. Fair enough. Yeah, what's going on with that show, the Orville? Is it coming back or not? Looks like on the other side, Star Trek Strange New Worlds is wrapping up. We are getting technically 5 seasons of that, which I assume is because it was contracted and paid for and had to happen anyway. But there won't be any more after that. They want to be able to imply a 5-year mission. But as I was saying, I think on the stream last night on Netter's Network, which again, it was a bit off topic, but this is not a prediction, and it is not based on any rumor. This is just the simple reality of the way rights issues work. If the most likely outcome of the CBS Paramount merger, it looks like most people in the industry believe that the CBS Paramount merger will happen, and if it does, that Skydance wants absolutely nothing to do with Kurtzman. And if they do not renew the contract but continue on with Star Trek, then everything that Kurtzman did, all that Kurtzman Trek, becomes non-canon. Legally, it must, because anything they use of his, they would have to pay him royalties, and they're not going to do that. So you can, and they know that there's no value to any of it anyway. So it will get mothballed. We talk about the destruction of all of our favorite franchises and what it would take to fix them, and there's not a lot of hope for most of them. But this one is almost a hardwired one into the rights related to Star Trek. They would have to get rid of the Kurtzman Trek if they're going to continue Trek without Kurtzman. That's just part and parcel of how those kinds of things go. Let's see. They can wrap the show up and toss it in the dumpster where it belonged. Yeah, exactly. With Kurtzman. Yeah. Why couldn't Orsi been the one to live? I know what you mean. I don't wish death on anybody, but there's people I would prefer rather than others. I get what you're saying. Get back to the novel continuity he and Abrams forced them to erase. Was there novel continuity in Trek? See, my experience with Trek always was that the novels were not always non-canon. But if there was some novels working their way into canon that I wasn't aware of, I completely missed that. That's very interesting. There was a storyline implied by that third season of Star Trek Picard. Again, anything Star Trek Picard would end up becoming non-canon too, I'm afraid. So it'll be an interesting legal mess for them to work out. Hadn't expected to go to the Star Trek stuff here. Star Trek Expanded Universe, it was non-canon, though Kurtzman was borrowing from it. See, that's the biggest and I see the same thing happening with all of these cultural vandals. You see it happening on the Star Wars side. Oh, look, there's Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah, that's not Grand Admiral Thrawn. It's Grand Admiral Thrawn in name only. You slap some blue paint on a dude with a dad bod, and wrote him like a mouth breather. That's not Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, this I was aware of. Okay, so I didn't read the Titan setting stuff, but I did read the Enterprise era, like the continuing novels. I, again, did not believe that was canon, but I'll tell you, it was my head canon, right? Justice for Trip, damn it. That's all I'm going to say. And F that last episode of Enterprise too. There's a fan edit that takes all the hologram BS out of it. I've got that in my collection. But I think I prefer the novel better. I almost want to take that novel and use it as like a script or as a way of doing like a fan edit of that last episode of Star Trek, using AI to redo that whole last episode of Enterprise. That's Grand Admiral Thrawn's fat, stupid brother. Yeah, exactly. It's Jake Thrawn is who it is. Romulan War and the Rise of the Federation were great. Trip is the man. Yes. And honestly, I felt like that was what Enterprise was leading up to. They just took too damn long with that stupid ass temporal Cold War. Yes, and the whole Jake and Nog finding the truth in the present day, I really did like that. That was a much better book ending way of telling the story. It's almost like the author was using that to mock the whole, Riker Troy hologram thing, and in so doing, it kind of says, well, it was a holographic thing. That doesn't mean it was accurate. In fact, we're telling you it wasn't, so. JPRPH1 says, I am at work, so I can't say. sharing out and leaving this like. See you all tonight. Yeah, remember, you can always catch this on the rewatch. I am going to be wrapping up real soon anyway. Yeah, I like the Enterprise era too. The Klingon costuming is very easy to recreate. Yeah. 24th century setting. There was a final confrontation with the Borg after the Romulans, Gorns, Tholians, Breen, Senkethi, and Kinshaya ally against the Federation, Klingons, Cardassians, and Ferengi. Come on, show in a new Cold War. Interesting. The Federation sucks. Long live the Klingon Empire. Yes, exactly right. Klingon ma Jaj. Anyway, that is the show for tonight. Obviously, my drink is the Martini. Love martinis. Feel very strongly about martinis. Currently, I'm on a 2-to-1 ratio of gin to a dry vermouth. Still working on what my favorite dry vermouth is. I am using a Cochi Americano dry vermouth, but I've got to try some different ones. I will be changing it up in the future. Yeah, don't even bring up Tacky in. He's dead to me. He can go, whatever. Anyway, that is the show for tonight. If you stay right where you are, and I please ask you to stay right where you are, you will be taken to Wilky's Movies and Music for his afternoon show. And tonight on Last Call with Troy Pacelli, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, very special guest will be Stark of Iron. I'm going to have a few other surprises that you might want to see, introducing a new little sound bite in the beginning monologue that I'm hoping doesn't get the channel hit for a copyright claim. If it does, it will have to come down and you will only be able to see it on Rumble. But if not, hopefully going forward. Actually, you know what? I could probably just try it right now. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm going to play this right now. It's just an audio bit. And we'll see if this video gets claimed. And if it does, well, again, it'll still be up on Rumble. But, and of course, links below. Make sure that you're following me on Rumble and X. And I'm going to play this and we're going to see what happens. It might have to get clipped out later.
To alcohol, the cause of...
I like this one. Technically, alcohol is a solution. That is absolutely true from a chemical standpoint. Thank you, my friends. You guys are all wonderful. You guys take care, and I hope to see you later on tonight over on Last Call with special guest Stark of Iron. But stay with us for Wilky's Music and Movies. Take care.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
Here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high